So now Jim Miller, 9th year, played his college football at Michigan State, been around at one time a few years back, the starter on opening day for the Pittsburgh Steelers under Bill Cowher. That didn't even last a week. He was yanked in that game and then didn't start again until a couple of seasons ago with Chicago. They begin from the 10. Thomas coming up to the line and then backing off against the 4-man front. They give the ball to Leon Johnson, who'll see the bulk of the ball-carrying duties tonight in Thomas's absence as we take a look at the Chicago starting 11.
Jim Miller, Michigan State.
Leon Johnson, UNC Tar Heels.
Damon Shelton, Sacramento State.
Des White, Georgia Tech.
Marty Booker, Northeast Louisiana.
John Gilmore, Penn State.
Mike Gandy, Notre Dame.
Kevin Doggins, Texas A&M Kingsville.
Olin Kreutz, Washington. Chris Valerio, Indiana, University of Pennsylvania.
James Williams, Cheney University.
James Big Cat Williams, 12th year in the league, all with Chicago, and this is Johnson. Hit hard as he tries to turn the corner by number 59, the outside linebacker Derek Rogers. Here is the Miami defense.
Adewale Ogunleye, Indiana.
Tim Bowens, Mississippi. Larry Chester, Temple.
Jason Taylor, Akron.
Derek Rogers, Arizona State Sun Devils.
Zach Thomas, Texas Tech.
Marlon Greenwood, Syracuse.
Pat Surtain, Southern Miss.
Arturo Freeman, South Carolina University.
Brock Marion, University of Nevada, Reno.
Sam Madison, Louisville.
On 3rd and 5 now, Miller almost lost the ball and gets sacked back at the 6-yard line. Jay Williams and Jason Taylor both got there. Williams first. Taylor finishes him off. The Bears are the only team in the league this season that have not scored a point on their first possession. And that will continue.
But you're going to see Jay Williams. He's going to take an inside move right there on Doggins. And what happens is Kreutz doesn't get over there, and he just takes that gap and hits it perfectly. Here in the outside is Jason Taylor. He is going to be all over Jim Miller all night if they don't put a tight end out there or if they don't chip a back on him.
Now Brad Maynard, the punt out of the end zone. The Bears 3 and out on their first possession as a flag thrown. Fielded at the 42-yard line by Robert Baker, who's inside the 40, the 30, and is rolled down at the 16 by the snapper, Patrick Manelli, but there's a flag down. The flag coming on the snap, and an injured Bear. Brown, he was able to walk off the field, so it's not as serious as it first appeared. They have Damon Moore, though, starting in his spot, and that's another starter as you look at Urlacher. So it'll be 44 different starters now for Chicago. 3 different ones tonight with Moore starting, at least for the moment, in place of Brown. Fiedler on first down, throwing, and his first pass as a starter in 2 months is complete to James McKnight, who takes it all the way to the 35, and Damon Moore, who's playing in place of Brown, is the guy with the coverage, 33 yards. Fiedler coming back off the fracture thumb. Did play sparingly in relief of Ray Lucas last week at Buffalo, and a little trickery here. Here's McKnight again, turning the corner inside the 30, takes it down to the 25-yard line, and Fiedler threw a block 3 minutes into the game, and here come the Dolphins after Chicago goes 3 and out on its first possession. And they've done just that on their first 2 plays. From the 24-yard line, here's Rookie's first carry of the night. And Rookie's able to turn the corner, pick up a first down as he gets to the 13, tackled by Damon Moore. Let's take a look at the Miami starting lineup. Down again, 3 plays for Miami, 3 first downs. Mike Brown comes back into the game for the Bears. From the 13-yard line. Fake to Williams, Fiedler, boot to the right. A lot of time, throws into the end zone, and a little bit low, intended for the tight end, Jed Weaver. Let's take a look at the Chicago starting defense.
Philip Daniels, Georgia.
Brian Robinson, Fresno State.
Keith Traylor, Central Oklahoma.
Alex Bryan, Florida.
Bobby Howard, Notre Dame.
Brian Urlacher, New Mexico.
Roosevelt Colvin, Purdue.
R.W. McQuarters, The Oklahoma State University.
Mike Green, Northwestern State, Louisiana.
Michael Brown, Nebraska.
Jerry Azuma, New Hampshire.
That defense trying to stop the best red zone offense in the league. Miami has cashed in for a touchdown 69% of the time this season in the red zone. Best in the NFL, but Ricky Williams gets smacked by Keith Traylor. And when Keith Traylor hits it, you do get smacked.
Yeah, and that was one of the things Norv Turner was talking about yesterday. We were talking about this Bear defense. He said, you know, he said if Keith Traylor plays his best game, I mean, if he plays like he can play, he can really make it tough on your inside running. And that's exactly what Keith Traylor did on that play. See, Ricky Williams loves to cut back in what they call the A gap, that gap between the center and the guard. Keith Traylor owned that A gap.
3rd and 13 now. Fiedler out of the shotgun. He empties the backfield. Sets up, good protection, and throws over the middle. It's caught, but stumbling and losing the ball is McKnight. It is loose inside the 10, and the Bears get it. It is Mike Brown who forced the issue. So Mike Brown, who looked for the moment on the return that he'd be done for the night, comes back into the game and pays an immediate dividend.
Yeah, and that's one of the things they always worried about James McKnight is his consistency.
The two safety, but McKnight just dropped the football. He just dropped it, and last year he dropped 3 balls after receptions, which is a lot for a receiver. Drops one here, gives Chicago the ball, and airing it out and having it picked off by Brock Marion. So Jim Miller throwing deep, and again without throwing during the week, with limited throwing in pregame warm-ups, throws that one up, and it's picked off by Marion.
Brock Marion took him off the hook.
So the Dolphins right back on the field, their offense back on. Rob Conrad sets up on the left side. Fiedler throws, caught, slant, Chambers inside the 20, inside the 15 to the 13 goes the second-year man from Wisconsin who had such a great rookie year and then had a concussion in Denver and is still working his way back. 1st and 10 from the 13. Here's Williams through the middle. Power running down to the 6 as the Dolphins try to cash in after the 23rd interception of Brock Marion.
Those guys is a very bright player, and he makes great decisions. Doesn't have a real strong arm, but can move and throw it also.
Now Williams gets dragged down by Damon Moore at the 5-yard line. The safety coming around to stop him at the 5, setting up a 3rd and a deuce.
And I've offensive running back.
3rd and a short 3, fake toss, and Fiedler to the end zone. Caught. Jed Weaver for the touchdown. We'll do that at halftime here in Miami, where it begins to pour again. And Made's kick is fielded. Some confusion at the 11-yard line. Ahmad Merritt taking it up to the 32-yard line. They have a rookie back there with him, Peterson, and it was Merritt who takes it away, and decent run back.
Yeah, watch that bootleg and the effect that it has here. If we look at the clicker, you see you fake one way. Now look what it does to this whole Bear defense. It all starts out to the right, then Jay Fiedler comes out to the left, and he hits Weaver in the background. You see Colvin started like it was a run away from him, and then Weaver was able to get in behind him.
And take a look at this.
Woo, now you're talking.
Well, thank God it's 72 degrees. At least it's room temperature.
Yeah, now it's man against man, team against team, and team against elements and man against elements.
Surfer against surfer from the 32-yard line. Miller hands the ball off to Leon Johnson, and Johnson takes it up to the 38-yard line.
You know, this Bears offense, when you have a quarterback that, you know, can't throw, this is probably a welcome thing. You know, this may be something. Just add some elements in here, and you're going to throw short passes anyway. As Dave Wanstead said before the game, that the wind is going to be more factor than the rain. But if it rains like this rain will also be a big factor in keeping the ball dry.
Wind is swirling. Here's Johnson, and he gets rolled down by Zach Thomas. Poor Melissa. How you doing, Melissa?
Well, this is pleasant, to say the least. It is absolutely a torrential downpour down here. It rained like this about an hour before the game tonight, but it let up for a few minutes. The wind is absolutely picked up again. It's swirling, and the field's getting quite saturated. I'd say about an inch of rain on the field.
Well, it's been pouring over much of South Florida today. Poured last night. Very gloomy today. Sun never came out. and they expect this on and off throughout the night. And timeout is called by the Bears as they in the Fiesta Bowl. Hall of Famer Larry Little, the great guard from the undefeated team of '72, looking on tonight. 3rd and 4 after the timeout. And with the rain having subsided, Johnson takes the give and gets it out to the 46-yard line where Patrick Surtain makes the tackle.
Got right in there behind Chris Valerio and James William. Olin Kreutz, you know, one of the best centers in football, and he starts out. I remember the last game we didn't even have him. He had appendicitis or something. What he blocks onside, he and Valerio, and they just get their guy going back, and they get a double team, get a push, and that's what creates the hole.
First down now. Johnson again, no hole there. Zach Thomas stopping him. Dick Geron, who last year watched everything good happen. Bears had very few injuries, got a lot of breaks, won games in overtime, pulled games out of the hat, 13-3, and now he is 3-9 in the last quarter of the season.
And they probably overachieved last year, and I think that raised their expectations, and they came in with high expectations and have had a bad year, and that's kind of led to frustration.
2nd down and 8 as Miller throws, and that one is off the fingertips of Damon Shelton, the fullback. They have Shelton playing along with Stanley Pritchard at fullback, the ex-Miami Dolphin. They're minus their 2 tight ends tonight, John Davis and Dustin Lyman, who's gone for the season after scoring twice last week, and John Gilmore, a rookie out of Penn State, is their tight end.
So I think one of the plans they have is to use, as you said, Pritchett some as a tight end or an H-back. The other plan is like they're doing right here to go 3 wide receivers.
Miller on 3rd down and 8. Throws over the middle. That is caught by Des White, but well short of the first down. White cutting across the middle at the 50-yard line. Ogunlaye makes the tackle, and when a lineman makes a tackle on a 3rd down and 8, you know that you didn't get the ball far enough downfield.
Well, and that's a Chicago Bear offense. You know that they have to be successful.
For the moment, though, rain has subsided for the most part. Like drizzle from the 11-yard line. Ricky Williams coming off a phenomenal performance last week in Buffalo. Had the game been closer, Ricky had a chance to establish a new single-game mark. 8 yards, which he set 2 years ago, Cincinnati against Denver. 2nd and 8 at the 13. Fake it to Williams, throw it outside to Conrad, and Urlacher is there covering the fullback on the far side, out of bounds at the 17.
You know, he looks like a totally different guy, Ricky Williams does. You know, we were talking like 7 yards deep, and he'll make 2 moves before he gets to the line of scrimmage.
Nice average, 4.6 per carry, 3rd down and 3. And Jay Fiedler gets taken down by the shirt, by the jersey. Alex Brown came in and got him around the shoulder, and a one-arm sack by Brown.
He's pretty good. He went right around Mark Dixon on that one, and that's the thing that you have to do. You know, at 3rd down, if you're not going to get the guy here, you have to go. Right here's Alex Brown, and you see him here. He starts, and he just gets that edge. That's a big thing. Take that edge, and then as you get that edge, you find the quarterback right around the corner. Mark Dixon, you know, has to get him and make him go to the outside a little more, not let him have that straight line. Ball will touch or hit.
And it is drizzling, so the ball got a little slicker once it left Royals' foot. The ball at the 41-yard line is Miller. The fake, that buys time. Over the middle and then throws it into a bunch of aqua shirts. And it's Arturo Freeman who picks up the deflection, the interception, and runs it back into Chicago territory. But no, one official now comes in and says incomplete, incomplete.
The 2nd down that they can get a little success with, whether it's Miller, you know, bootlegging, moving and throwing, getting a run, but they get in this situation now. They have to gain 7 or 8 yards on this play.
And they try to get those 7 or 8 with Johnson, who can only get 1 or 2 as he's tackled by Larry Chester. Again, the Bears minus Anthony Thomas had such a good rookie year, but a very ordinary 2nd year. Johnson is the backup guy, and Chicago having a very difficult time getting on track. The team averaging just 3.4 yards per carry this season.
See, and then they get in this situation, and because you don't have success again on running on first and or second down, then that puts you in this third and long, and they darn near, you know, go into frozen when they get in this situation. The Bears do.
A minute and a half to play in the opening quarter. Third down and 7. Miller under pressure, gets rolled down, loses the ball as it comes forward. And it is, for the moment, it is taken by Ogunlaye. A flag goes down at the end of the play. Blum was looking over to the umpire. It was a late call because there was no indication initially that it was a forward pass. And, you know, this is one of those plays where if you challenge, you can't get the ball. You get the yardage, but not the ball.
No, but they ruled incomplete.
But tonight for Jay anyway. Good start, 5 out of 6 for 78 yards and the touchdown pass to Weaver. And he goes to work here in the final minute of the opening quarter, and that one is gunned incomplete, intended for James McKnight over the middle.
You know, Miller made that adjustment of protecting the right thumb the way he's taking the ball.
Elbow tendonitis in vogue tonight in Miami. Trendy City. Second down and 10. Fiedler throws to the outside, and that's incomplete. Rob Conrad, the intended receiver. Or Turner writes the first 15 pages, and then you come to a 3rd and 10, where they've had a lot of trouble this year on 3rd and long. And here they are able to convert as James McKnight takes it up to the 47.
And the big thing there is the pass protection. I mean,
they have been worse in the league on 3rd and 10 or more as Ricky Williams takes the ball inside the 45, close to a first down as the clock ticks down, and that's the end of the first quarter. Two Dolphins, they'll be honored at the half. We'll be talking about the guys from time to time throughout the game as they gather, along with, of course, Coach Don Shula.
I was talking to Larry Zonka the other day at practice about it, and he said that they went to a dinner and they all got on a bus, and he said they were all sitting in a bus, and about after 5 minutes, he said the talk was the same talk that it was in 1872. He said they were talking about the same things, the same guys, you know, with the same jokes, acting the same way.
Blast from the past. Ricky Williams takes the ball to the 40-yard line. Of course, when Chicago meets Miami, you think back to that 85.
It was a Bears, and it looked like they were going to go all the way, that they were going to win every game, and then they come here and the Dolphins beat them.
On 2nd and 7, that pass is high, intended for Chris Chambers. In that game, but he was hurt, didn't start. Steve Fuller started that night. Then McMahon came on in relief. It was the only game Chicago would lose in their Super Bowl season. Fiedler on 3rd and 7, taken off and picking up a first down as he gets to the 30-yard line.
It was interesting before the game. Bob Greasy was up here, and we were.
Those guys, of course, like Donovan McNabb and Michael Vick. Here's Ricky Williams, who can pick up a lot of first downs for you. Runs right through Brown, but then fumbles into the end zone, and the Bears recover for the touchback. R.W. McQuarters recovers the ball after Williams had sprung loose. He was hit by Mike Brown, but got through him and then loses the football.
You were saying earlier how strange it is, and strange things are happening tonight with that football. You know, the wet ball, the field, the jersey, it happened right there. That ball just got punched out on him.
Fumbling. 6 fumbles on rushing plays in each of his seasons. 3 with the Saints. Now his first season with the Dolphins, and Chicago starts after the touchback at its own 20-yard line. Short 3-step drop by Miller, and the pass is incomplete, intended for Marcus Robinson as we go to Melissa.
Al, it is hard to imagine that the Bears could possibly have another injury, but they do. Right guard Chris Valerio, their 7-year starter, who missed a game a few weeks ago because of lower back spasms, is suffering from them again. He's inside the locker room right now. The trainers are working on him. His return is questionable. In the meantime, tackle Bernard Robertson takes a spot in the lineup.
Think of the difference a year makes. Last year, they started the same 5 guys in the interior all season. This year, a complete mess.
Sometimes you wonder why does that happen, but it happens more often than not.
And here's Henry Burris coming in at quarterback and giving the ball to Leon Johnson. So Burris, who played some last week against Green Bay in a mop-up role and threw a touchdown pass, comes in for one play to change it up, and now back comes Miller.
Yeah, and John Shoop was saying last night that you may see that. The first play, he may just come in and just hand off, and you'll wonder, what the heck are we doing? Well, we have a lot of situations for Henry Burris, and each situation has a package of plays. So I think that was their idea, is just bring them in. The first time they bring them in, just have them hand off. But they have a number of other things with him running and throwing deep.
3rd and 6 now. Miller is 1 of 6 for 4 yards. 1 of 7 now. That pass is incomplete. And again, in a situation where you need a certain amount of yardage, and they again throw underneath, 4th down.
Yeah, but that's their.
Now the Dolphins begin the drive from the 13-yard line. Bootleg again, but effective in providing protection for Fiedler, and hits Conrad, who's tackled by the outside linebacker Bobby Howard.
When you usually bring a tight end across behind the linebackers, you get held on the line of scrimmage.
2nd and 7. Fiedler again. The line does its job, but the pass is thrown low and wobbly and incomplete, intended for Chris Chambers.
Yeah, now that one
broke that thumb against Denver in a game in which he heroically helped lead them to a dramatic win. Up at the 23-yard line, that's caught and fumbled out of bounds. It's a completed pass. It is caught by Chambers, and he's right there at the 1st down marker, but appears to be a little short. So another overturn. Challenge keeps the ball in Miami's hands, and Ricky Williams takes it over the 25-yard line to the 26 for a gain of a couple.
You know, Robert Edwards, and just leave him in there every down, so that's what they're doing.
Robert Edwards, who has been backing them up inactive tonight, is Ricky Williams, who came over from the Saints, gave up a 1st-round draft choice to the Dolphins in a trade, and they will give up another 1st-rounder if Ricky Williams.
Easy draft choices as well.
3rd down, short 3. And Fiedler throws, and coming back to try to make the catch was Chris Carter. Yep, that Chris Carter. Chris, who came out of retirement in the Green Bay game. Chris, of course, with the Vikings for all of those years. Then he had a kidney ailment, and he's making his first appearance on the field in a month now.
Yep. Made a heck of a block to pick up the other blitzer was Ricky Williams.
Royals' punt. Wobbly kick. Goes out of the 32-yard line with 9:13 remaining. Opening half into the NBA. From the 32, the Bears, who have only 1 1st down in the game, and Miller slings it to the outside, caught by Marty Booker, their leading receiver, and that is just the 2nd completion for Miller tonight for a total of 6 yards.
You know, and that's that elbow thing, and they tried early. Remember, they tried to take a shot early, and Brock Marion intercepted the ball because, you have to, stretch the defense somewhat. I mean, if I were the Miami Dolphins, I would play exactly what they're doing. They have both corners up, and they're pressing the outside receivers because all the stuff that he's going to throw is a short stuff. See how the corners are up here and up here? I would do that all night for this Bear offense.
2nd and 8, a little toss back to Johnson with a flag down. The pass rating formula, of course, is very complicated with a lot of components, but it flashed up for the moment. You wonder how you get a pass rating of 0. Well, you go 2 out of 8 for 6 yards with an interception, and it's 0.
And that's as low as you can go, right?
Yes, it is.
Anything go below 0.
There it is.
No, that's kind of ugly. And then, when you know that you come into the game and you know that you can't throw and your quarterback hasn't thrown all week.
Defense, 5 yards, repeat 2nd down.
We get a break here.
It's just tough enough to play this game, if you practice and you throw all week, but when you don't, stuff like this happens to you. I mean, they tried to get it out there and stretch it, and they couldn't, and then they went back to all their short and underneath stuff. That's about as deep as he can throw it without a lot of velocity.
And that's Johnson, who gets taken down by David Bowens, who was the guilty party on the offside. So Bowens somewhat atones for that as he trips him up back of the line of scrimmage at the 38-yard line, making it 3rd down and 4.
Yeah, and this is a manageable situation for them. And I think they, saying they don't have a pass offense if they get 3rd and long. And to me, for the Bears, that's anything over 5 yards. But if they're less than 3rd and 5, they ought to be able to have some plays in their offense that could pick up a 1st down.
Miller throws, intended for Marty Booker, and he was coming back, and even had he caught it, forward progress wouldn't have given him the 1st down.
Maybe they don't have a pass that could give him the 1st down.
To strike in Miami, 7-0 Dolphins. Miami with the ball now from the 16 as this drive commences with a feeble toss to the near side, caught by Conrad, who slips a tackle and then gets forced out of bounds by the omnipresent Brian Urlacher at the 27-yard line.
And he is omnipresent. I mean, he was the guy, remember when Ricky Williams was going in to make that touchdown, he was the guy that knocked the ball out of there. He's a guy that plays the run, gets out here in the sideline, and he's a heck of a player as a middle linebacker, and he plays the run well, but he also, because he has such great speed, he can do this. You see, he can react to a run fake and then get all the way out to the sideline and make a hit like this. This guy's special. He's a special player.
2 years in the league, 2 Pro Bowls, 1st down from the 28-yard line. Good protection for Fiedler again. Wide open is McKnight into Bear territory and finally out of bounds, dancing out at the 39-yard line.
And then able to run, and then you can fake the ball to him and have receivers wide open like that.
1st and 10 after a 34-yard gain. Williams again. And Ricky bursting through to the 25-yard line. That's a 14-yard pickup
on that play, rather than just hitting it going downhill.
Chris Carter in the game. And that's Mike Brown coming up to take care of Ricky. And John, we were talking about the draft choices before. Ricky, of course, was a 1st-round pick for New Orleans, Heisman Trophy winner. New Orleans trading its whole draft, and then he comes here.
He looks like the Ricky Williams that played at Texas.
2nd down and 8. And that's caught, and that's Chris Carter to the 15-yard line. So Chris Carter coming back after a kidney ailment. Had shelved him. He was in the hospital.
Go 4. He said that's the way he should have started when he first came here anyway.
From the 14, Fiedler going off his back foot. Well, we saw Tim Brown catch his 1,000th.
He changed his street clothes, but he wouldn't get in one of those hospital gowns.
Weird deal. You gain 20 pounds. Williams inside the 10. Burst through a tackle, and he is in for the touchdown. He just shredded McQuarters, just pushed him out of the way, and goes 15 yards to the end zone. Kickoff fielded by Ahmad Merritt at the 2-yard line. And the Dolphins with good coverage. Out of bounds at the 23. A little more on Ricky Williams. Let's check in with Melissa.
Current Saints running back Deuce McAllister's, though, he'll be all right.
He's pretty happy at the moment. And this is Adrian Peterson, a rookie out of Georgia Southern, a 6th-round draft choice who had a spectacular career at Georgia Southern. He's been inactive for almost all of the games this season, has played a little bit on special teams, and they're going to try to work him in a little bit the balance of the year.
And the coaches are real excited about him. He's one of those guys that, played pretty well in preseason, does well in practice, and they can't wait to see him in a game, and they're just starting to see him now.
Well, here's Henry Burris now coming into the game for his 2nd play. 2nd-year quarterback out of Temple. Their other quarterback is Chris Chandler, who's in uniform tonight with the number 3 quarterback, the emergency quarterback, as Burris throws. And that pass is incomplete, intended for Marty Booker. In fact, Chandler is not in effect. He would be the number 3 quarterback, but the Bears have had so many injuries. They're down to just 45 able bodies, so they don't have to make him number 3. Normally you carry another quarterback as the 46, but they just have 45 guys in uniform.
Yeah, and that's why they're playing Henry Burris like this, because he would normally be the third, so they can bring him in and out. Now, if they're going to change quarterback, if they think that Miller can't do it, then they would bring in Chris Chandler.
Backfield vacant on 3rd down and 8 as Miller retreats. And then that pass is incomplete. And looking for the flag is Merritt.
I think he got it, too. Do get your hands up there like Freeman did. It's when your feet are in bad position.
Peterson back in at running back. Here he goes again. And it is Zach Thomas who's the first guy to hit him.
Yeah, we're talking about one number 54, Brian Urlacher, and another number 54 on the other side is also pretty good. We have two of the better middle linebackers and two of the real, good leaders and, guys that tackle well and have good speed and kind of play this game the way it's supposed to be played. I mean, I think that if I had to take two middle linebackers somewhere, I think I would take these two guys and go and play just about anywhere.
2nd and 6. And this is Adrian Peterson. People talk about, and it's a cliche, you have a lot of heart, but when you see a guy like Zach Thomas, that's exactly what he has. Urlacher with a tremendous amount of talent, but Thomas the kind of guy who, when he came here, everybody said, he's a backup guy, he's a special teams guy, and here he is, a Pro Bowler.
Yeah, I mean, there were times when you just wouldn't even take a guy that was 5'10" to, as a middle linebacker, you wouldn't take him to training camp. Although one of the guys that they're honoring here tonight on that 72 team, who's also in the Hall of Fame, was that size. That was Nick Bonacani.
Sure.
And Nick was that, that smaller linebacker and a lot like Zach Thomas. There he is. He was number 85.
Ring of Honor.
He was the toughest guy to block on a blitz. You know what he would do? He was small, and he would get up there, and he would hit that blitz hole sideways. And he wouldn't give you, I mean, there's not a lot of Nick to hit anyway. And then when he turns sideways like that, then you try and block it. And he would kind of slither, if that's a football word. He would slither through the hole on a blitz. He was tough, and he was a heck of a tackler, too.
Slithered his way right to Canton, Ohio. 3rd and inches now, and they fumble it. Miller lost it. Adrian Peterson recovers it. But the 2-minute warning comes, and it's 4th down. 4th down, 2 minutes to the half. Five seconds remaining in the opening half.
Came from or wherever we were, a great deal of thanks for what he meant and what he brought and what he stood for.
In so many ways, as Ricky Williams takes off again and is out of bounds up at the 28-yard line. From the 27-yard line with a minute and a half to go. Miami with all of its timeouts, and here's Williams bouncing his way forward up to the 32-yard line.
And I think that's one of the great things about, this, having the 72. And sometimes, Doc, we just have to remember history. We just have to make it a bigger part of our lives.
You snap the ball to Williams this time. You're right, and they're going to honor the Dolphins here at halftime, and as part of our halftime coverage tonight, we'll also take a look. 3rd down and 3 now with 24-6 remaining in the half, and Fiedler throwing, and it's caught up at the 40-yard line by Dedrick Ward. That'll move the chains, and Miami will take a timeout. Per play, Miller is 2 out of 9 for 6 yards. Fiedler, meanwhile, 162 yards, and Williams has rushed for 100 in the half, 105. Off Ricky's hand and incomplete.
I think one thing the
2nd down and 10. Williams again, big hole through the middle, takes it to the 46-yard line, and they're going to take a timeout. Olindo Mate is one of the few guys in the league capable of.
Did see him kick a 57-yarder the other way,
but instead they will end the first half, barring a defensive foul on this heave to the end zone. Everybody up. And the pass incomplete. In the first half. Football at Florida State to back up to Ricky Williams. Backing up here. From the 2. Up to the 23 and a marker at the 14-yard line.
Yeah, you just feel that this is what, the Bears
to a 200-yard night. From the 8. Ricky to the 11.
And that's what the Bears have to do. The yards after contact, 55 yards.
2nd and 7. Williams again. Seeks the first down. Close to it. Check in with Melissa.
Al, Dave Wanstead, very impressed with JP. The Bears have them. We have to be ready for some deep balls.
The only way I think Chicago can.
Well, and they have to start pulling out their tricks because their regular stuff doesn't work, or they have to get a big play on defense.
On 3rd and 1, this heavy dose of Williams continues, but the Bears for the moment look like they were equal to the task, and then he puts his shoulder down into Jerry Azuma and appears to get the first.
And that's a combination of speed, the quickness, and the
run against the grain. Chris Carter is in the game, first up on the 18-yard line. Fiedler guns it over the middle, caught 42-yard line, and up to the 44 goes Randy McMichael, one of a few rookies in the league, 7 in fact, to start every game this season. 4th-round draft choice out of Georgia. Match of the night for him, 26 yards. First down from the 44. Pitch it back to Williams again. Runs into traffic and gets tangled up at the 45-yard line.
He has a lot of life. He's a good kid. I like it.
Yeah.
I like him. I mean, he brings some freshness to this thing.
Let him in Green Bay. He's a lot of fun. 2nd and 9. Little soft toss, and that's intercepted. And that's the play the Bears needed. Then it's Howard tossing it back to Azuma. And Azuma still on his feet and finally taken down at the 21-yard line. Intended for Ricky Williams. A little floater that stayed in the air, and the Bears get exactly what they need to get back in the game, and there's a flag down at the end.
And there's a number of ways to do it. You can do it offensively, and if that doesn't work, then you better get plays from your special teams. You better get plays from your defense, and I think the Bear defense knows that. I think they know that, hey, our offense isn't doing anything. We better start making things happen. We better start doing it ourselves. That ball was tipped, wasn't it, as it came out of there? It was Christian Peter that hit it at the line of scrimmage.
Unnecessary roughness, number 98 of the return team, 15 yards. First down, Chicago, timeout.
That's Brian Robinson. 87. Here is the personal foul. There's 98 Robinson, costing him 15 yards.
That's a stupid penalty. I mean, that's one where he hit the guy in the back, but behind the play, too. I mean, that was 2 behinds, and you never hit 1 behind.
And it costs him 15 and takes it back to the 36, where this drive begins with Leon Johnson tackled by Tim Bowens after a gain of 2.
Sometimes you just feel that, that's not aggressive play, or that's not tough play. That's just frustration play. I want to see a guy that has a motor. Watch this guy right here, Jason Taylor. I mean, he takes on a block, just throws the fullback to the side, says, here, take that, and let me get this one.
Now they've got Henry Burris in the game, 2nd and 8. They've been bringing him in and spotting him. He's 0 for 1 passing tonight. And he gets this one away and then throws this one out of bounds. Incomplete. Throwing it away as he was chased by Jason Taylor.
And that's the advantage of it. You wonder if he stepped out of bounds. If he stepped out of bounds before he threw it, then the ball would have been spotted there. But because he was outside the tackle box, he can throw it away if he throws it to the line of scrimmage. Well, that one didn't work, did it?
No.
That was the old surprise. They were going to bring in Henry Burris, and he was going to run a bootleg because he can run a little better than Jim Miller. But the Dolphins kind of had everything covered on that deal.
Now they're not going to throw underneath again on 3rd and 8, are they?
Yeah.
This time he goes longer, and the pass is, the Dolphins say no. The officials come in and take a look and have yet to call it. It's Marty Booker, and they're going to say that he made the catch.
The first official had his back to it, and he ran up there and didn't call anyone.
Now the Bears are going to try to run a play before the Dolphins have a chance to look at a challenge here to attempt what will be a 52-yard field goal.
As I said, he has plenty of leg for that, and I've seen him make it in the pregame warm-up tonight right from this position here. Of course, he didn't have any rush or any of those kinds of things too, but he's a good kicker. I like Paul Edinger. I mean, he has plenty of leg and he's very accurate.
Unorthodox style, almost turns his back to the goalpost. Gets plenty of torque.
Well, he does turn his back to the goalpost. Sure. He goes through all these gyrations before he does it, but eventually he will be facing the other way before he starts it.
Faked one last week against Green Bay for a touchdown, much deeper in the opponent's territory. Maynard puts this one down. Edinger sails it through with plenty of leg. Cleared it by 4 or 5 yards inside the left upright. So 3 points for the Bears. Last week did it against Buffalo and went in untouched from 45 yards. Rookie that time. And the Bears respond to an A-gap.
Well, the Bears all jumped in the A-gap.
That's right.
But most guys will, you know.
All out of the AFC vying for the league rushing title.
And I would bet tonight he passed Priest home.
On his way, 2nd down and 8. He may pass him on this run. Yes, he does. Green and Brown in pursuit. Forget about it. 63 yards. Leads the league in rushing. And with 9:16 left in the third, Ahmad Merritt takes Made's kickoff and brings it back up to the 29. And again, we go back and look at Ricky's touchdown.
Yeah, we were just talking about the A-gap. Here's what he keys right here. That's where he wants to run. He starts here, then he's going to come back, then he's going to hit it right there. See, that's what he's keying. He's letting everyone over pursue. See how they over pursue? Now right back to his left. You see that gap or that hole right there? That's what he's keying all the way. And here's the A-gap. This is how we had it drawn up. Here's the A-gap, and he hit this A-gap that time, and the one that we showed was the A-gap on the other side.
This is like doing it in a movie. You set it up, it happens, and then Johnson can't get to any gap, and is stopped at the line of scrimmage.
This Miami Dolphin offensive line is doing a heck of a job tonight in blocking for Ricky Williams, and that's the age-old argument. You know, does the offensive line make the running back, or does the running back make the offensive line? And I've always said that the running back makes the offensive line. That you take a great running back and put him with an average offensive line, and he'll make that line look a lot better.
And of course, you hit the grand slam when you get them both. You get a great interior 5 with a great running back. Marty Booker up to the 33-yard line.
And the Dolphins have a good offensive line coach. Tony Wise, you know, who was at Dallas there with Dave and then went to Chicago and then came down here. And he's one of those guys that really understands line play and really understands the running game.
Wannstedt has put together a nice staff here. Some of the guys like Wise came over from Chicago. Dave was there for 6 years.
You know, and getting Norv Turner was big.
Oh, yeah.
Norv Turner, getting him as an offensive coordinator, calling plays, putting in his offense is something that's really good.
3rd and 7, and that pass is incomplete. We're talking to Dave Wannstedt, and there is Miller going down and holding his knee and writhing in agony. So he comes in with a shoulder. He comes in with the elbow. Now you've got the knee. You've got Burris on the bench, and Chandler is the other quarterback.
Yeah, and I would think they would bring Chris Chandler in this situation. You see, when you really can't get anything going, and and you're not a moving quarterback, and you can't get the run going, the big day.
Get to the maul from the 33-yard line on first down. Here's Williams trying to go to the 200-yard mark. And from the 33 out to the 38, the official stats come up. He is given 5 yards there, and that's an even deuce. 200. And that's something that rarely happens. A guy with 200-yard games back-to-back. It's happened only 3 other times, and there it is. O.J. Simpson did it in 73 and 76. Earl Campbell, the last to do it in 80. So it's been 22 years since a running back has had back-to-back deuces.
You have a feeling that Ricky Williams even knows that?
Well, I have a feeling Ricky Williams could break the record tonight before all is said and done. On 2nd down and 5, and that is knocked away by R.W. McQuarters. Dave Wannstedt certainly very happy to have a 10-to-1 ratio. From the 43, fake to Williams. Screen is set up, and it's Conrad who gets taken down from behind as he stopped a little shy of the 50.
You know, I think getting Ricky Williams with John Robinson, run the ball.
Pretty good balance tonight. 26 runs, make it 27 here, and 25 passes. And there goes Ricky again over the 50 to the 48, and a little short of the first by a yard or two, tackled by Azuma. And 2. Big rushing mark. 278 yards by Corey Dillon. And now Williams will actually lose a couple here to the 50, so that will move him from 205 back to 203.
Yeah, and that's what you have to do against Ricky Williams, and it's easier to say or just to do once in a while. They didn't know who touched it, but it touched Aqua.
And it's a total Aqua scene tonight. This is caught at the 25. Chris Chandler is in the game. John Gilmore, the rookie tight end. And what's the update, Melissa, that you have on Jim Miller?
Al, you saw him being carted off the field just a few minutes ago. He is inside the locker room right now undergoing x-rays. He has a sprained left knee. And Dick Duran has told us that Jim Miller just embodies the city of Chicago. He is gritty. He is tough. He always plays through pain and injuries. But, guys, at some point, the injuries are just too much.
Yeah, they've killed the Bears this season. Beginning with a Ted Washington loss early on. 1st and 10 from the 30. Johnson. Well, John, the Dolphins are all in Aqua. They'd like to tell you it's for tradition. You know what it is? It's marketing.
Of course it is.
Of course, it's so we can sell more uniforms. And they're not the only team in the league that does this. The teams are coming out with like 10 different uniforms per season. And it's all about merchandising. That's what it is.
Yeah, and I don't like dark on dark. I mean, I think the Miami Dolphin uniforms are great when they have the aqua and the and the white, either top or bottom. But dark on dark, I think, makes you look slow and sluggish and look like something other than NFL.
Bears came out dark on dark in that game in Champaign against Green Bay. And that's Zach Thomas taking down Leon Johnson.
Seattle came out dark on dark, and they haven't played worth a darn since they've been dark on dark.
That's right. Neither of the Bears that night in Champaign.
Well, the Dolphins are kind of breaking that anyway. You know, talking about merchandising, you know what the top-selling jersey is in the NFL?
Right now?
Yeah, playing in this game. The player.
Oh, the player, the individual?
The player that has the top-selling jersey. They're showing it right there. What the heck is that? Someone gave it away.
Drew Eslicott knew the number. And there's a little dump-off by Chandler to Adrian Peterson. And Peterson, the Georgia Southern rookie, gets out to the 50-yard line. So Chandler going down would have been sacked. Gets it off.
Yeah, the most popular jersey in the NFL is Brian Urlacher's jersey. And in fact, I saw a number of 54s here tonight. And that kind of surprised me. I mean, I don't know who I would have guessed. I probably would have said Jerry Rice or something, but that's the number one. In fact, you see a lot of old 54s here. And Chicago Bear 54s, not Miami Dolphin 54s.
You would have thought maybe Emmitt Smith. At one time, Emmitt probably was. 2nd down and 3. And that's Leon Johnson taking it to the 44 and a first down.
I think the way Ricky Williams is playing, you're going to see a lot of Aqua 34s around.
No doubt. Much as in years past, if you'd come to South Florida, there were plenty of 13s.
Like there probably are still plenty of Aqua 13s.
Yes.
I think Dan Marino was here tonight and got one of the great ovations. There's a 54 Aqua and a 34 Aqua.
From the 45.
It's all about business.
It's all about business. Flag comes in at the end of the play. Intended for Merritt. Covered by Sam Madison.
I think, you know, with Chris Chandler, at least they can get the ball down the field. And I was saying earlier, this penalty goes against the Bears, but I was saying earlier that I don't think it was fair to Jim Miller. You know, that if you can't throw the ball and you can't practice, I mean, this game is tough enough to be a quarterback and without practicing. So Ahmad Merritt right there. That, you know, anytime you see a penalty like that, you expect or suspect that it's the defensive guy, but it can also be the offensive guy, and that one was.
First and 20 now from the 45.
I think Jerron has to be frustrated as heck because this has kind of been ugly for the Bears, hasn't it?
Very. It's all about business. You know, on a night when we're saluting Roone Arledge, I keep thinking about, you know, he was the first of a breed. He's probably the last of a breed, too. He was a guy who got the job because he was creative. And did Roone spend money? He loved to. Did he waste money? Of course he did. Did he increase shareholder value? 100-fold. He was phenomenal in that regard.
So what you're saying is that's not a bad plan for the Bears right now.
I don't know what I'm saying.
No, I mean, no, spend money, be creative, come up with some new ideas, some new players, because this one's not working.
Second down and 18 from the 47. And they finally move the ball downfield into the arms of Marty Booker inside the 30 to the 28 and a first down. Finally.
Yeah, well, you know, Chris Chandler gives him a chance. At least he can throw the ball. At least he can get it downfield. And then if you can get it there, you have Marty Booker, you know, who is a very, very good receiver.
26-yard gain. That's a quarter of their yardage tonight. End of 3, 21-3. Zonka's number retired. Center follows the game. And the Chicago Bears barely alive as the fourth quarter begins, down by 18. Pass for Gilmore is a little short. 60th birthday today for.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, happy birthday. Happy birthday to you.
That jersey would sell a few copies today, wouldn't it?
It still does, and no one in the history of ones have ever been so sweet talking about Dick Butkus.
Yeah. Second and 10 as Leon Johnson takes the ball to the 23-yard line, tackled by Ogunlaye.
And if he heard that, he'd say, "Cut that baloney out. What's going on there?" He was a real deal. You know, the Bears have so much tradition. You know, I mean, you think of the Bears and you think of, you know, George Halas and Walter Payton and Dick Butkus, and it's just kind of what the NFL is all about. And I think that football and the NFL is so much better when the Bears are good.
Yeah. Dick Butkus and Dale Sayers, 3rd down and 6 from the 23-yard line. Chandler hit from behind as he throws because Jason Taylor put the heat on.
You know, Mike Gandy is going to be beaten here by Jason Taylor. You see him in a 4-point stance. He does that to stay low and get off quickly. He just got that left hand up on Mike Gandy, and then he went right around him. Gandy, for the most part, I think, has done a pretty good job on Jason Taylor tonight.
It's 4th down and 6 now. They could kick an Edinger field goal here, and still be 2 scores back. But the way things are going, Jerron says, I got to go for it. I got to go for a touchdown. I got to go for a first down first and then put it in the end zone. 4th and 6, and Chandler throws to no avail. Flag at the 22-yard line.
And of course, if it's a defensive holding penalty over on that side, because it was on that sideline, it'll be an automatic first down.
Offside, 93 defense, 5 yards. Repeat, fourth down.
Well, it's not a first down, but at least they keep the ball. And that'll make it 4th down and 1. Jerry Angelo, the general manager of the Chicago Bears, who watched his team last year, 13-3, almost the reverse this season. But trying to hang in are the Bears right now, down by 18, 4th down and 1 from the 18-yard line. And Chandler throws a fluttering pass intended for the rookie Gilmore, incomplete. Thomas covers. Dolphins football. Been melding with Jim McKay and what that show became over the years. It's Ricky Williams. Picks up 2 to the 21, and let's check in with Melissa.
Al, changing gears a little bit to college football, because coming up this Saturday is the presentation of the Heisman Trophy Award, and this year arguably the most wide open race in the history of the award. So I asked the 11 active Heisman Trophy winners in the NFL for their votes, and here are the results. Leading the pack with 4 votes, Miami running back Willis McGahee, and not far behind, Miami quarterback Ken Dorsey, and Iowa quarterback Brad Banks, USC quarterback Carson Palmer, and Penn State running back Larry Johnson, each with 1 vote. 2 of the players still undecided, but as you can see, a big variance of opinions.
And here's Ricky Williams. So for whom did Ricky Williams cast his vote?
Al?
Yes.
He picked Willis McGahee.
Why would I have suspected that? They are the guys who get Heisman votes. Playing in the National Football League.
Who did Tim Brown pick?
Yeah.
I think he and Woodson both picked McGahee.
3rd down and 5 from the 23-yard line. Melissa will go over his copious notes. As Fiedler's pass is incomplete, intended for Chris Chambers. Mike.
He was tough. We started hitting him up with the neck, the shoulders, the ribs, the hip, the thighs, the knees. Finally get him down.
Royals his punt. Ahmad Merritt to the 50-yard line with 12:16 remaining in the 4th quarter. Miami up by 18. And Chicago now has the ball, trailing by 18 at the 50-yard line, with a little more than 12 minutes to go in the 4th quarter. And Jason Taylor got an early jump, and that's unabated to the quarterback. Well, Larry Zonka had his number retired tonight. Joins us now in the booth. Larry, congratulations, and a fabulous ovation. I mean, this place just went crazy.
You know, we must have a lot of old people in Miami. Is all I can figure. Some of these fans are 2nd, 3rd generation, and it must have been handed down. They must have talked to their parents or grandparents.
You know, it had to be special, you know, having your family out there, but then bringing your mother up there. I know I could just feel the tingle up there. I knew that's the deal.
All us big lugs, you know how that is. We all got little tiny mamas, you know, and all these years she's watched and pulled for the Dolphins. I just wanted to get her out there, and Sheila was going to talk too long, I was afraid.
On 1st down and 5 after the offside penalty. Chandler throws over the middle. That's caught there by John Gilmore. So Larry, bring us up to date. What's life like for you? Where are you living now? What are you doing?
I have 2 shows on OLN, 12:30 Saturdays. I'm going to plug them. Steele's North to Alaska and Napa Zonka Outdoors, and they pay me to hunt and fish, John. That's I know Jesus loves me right there.
You're doing things that people retire to do, and you're getting paid for them.
Sort of like recess, isn't it, John? I heard what you said the other day. Your life is the same way.
My life is recess. My life has been recess. Your life is recess.
Yep. Great.
From the 33. The pass is incomplete. So from 30 years perspective now, when you look back, Larry, would you have any idea at that point that 30 years later people would look upon the 72-year with this sort of magnitude?
Well, I touched on it a little bit. You know, we don't have the heritage, the history of a Rams, of a Giants, of a Bears. So it's a short history, but we did so much in that short history. And it's comparable to the Raiders. Things happened and happened quickly, went right to the top. And then there's a carryover with the 85 team, of course, and what happened with the Bears. That kind of pulls the whole thing together and gives us a little team spirit that carries over, hopefully, decade.
2nd and 10 from the 33-yard line. That's tipped again a 3rd time. And at the 21-yard line, they're going to say no, incomplete. After all of that, Dolphins had 2, maybe 3 chances to come up with a pick here.
John, do you remember back when we played in the 70s? Was the ball bouncing around like that all the time? I don't remember that.
No, it seemed like someone always had control of it. And the other thing is remember that if someone fumbled, it was a fumble.
Yeah,
now there's a fumble, and you have 15 replays and 10 excuses of why it wasn't a fumble.
What caused all that? When did that change? Or how did it change, John?
Throw incomplete. 3rd down.
I don't know. I mean, that whole thing about fumbling, in the ground causing it and stuff, and when the whistle blow and when you're down by contact. I would like to see him simplify that and get it back that if you fumble, it's a doggone fumble, and the other team gets the ball.
How about whether the ground causes it or whoever causes it?
Whoever
you lose it, it's gone.
That's
right?
the way it used to be.
How about if the Dolphins wanted to challenge? They're out of challenges right now.
I might change my mind then. I know this, when some of those guys, Sistrunk, people like that, were after that ball, there was no question. If they ripped it out, it was gone. It wasn't.
Yeah, but they wouldn't rip it out of you because you went through, both hands and straight up. And like I was saying earlier, we'd start hitting them up here, 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 and here. We'd finally get them down. We'd say, hey, we got him. We'd look over to the 2nd and 2.
3rd and 10. That's dropped. Larry, there were a spate of stories this week about, when you left the Dolphins and you went over to play in the World League and all of that, and the consternation that caused. Are you cool with them right now with the
I'm
organization?
cool with the Dolphins. We had some run-ins with ownership. Joe Robbie and I never got along.
Right.
And man did a lot with very little. He was strained for money. I understand that. Some of the things went a little beyond that. It's over. It's done. I left, had it been like today, I probably never would have left, in honesty. But, that's hindsight. Monday morning, Tuesday morning.
Right.
Things are a lot different.
Yeah, but look what you have. I mean, your jersey's retired here. You're in the Hall of Fame. You're the only undefeated team in the history of the game.
Paid to
That's
hunt
pretty
and
good
fish.
stuff. Paid to
4th and 10. That is knocked away. Broken up by Jamar Fletcher. Zoc, great to see you, man.
I enjoyed.
And here's Williams. The commissioner's in town. I'm looking at some notes from his pregame press conference. Question: is a flexible schedule in regard to TV coverage possible? Then the commissioner goes on to say it's important, not just for Monday night, and they're going to continue to look at it. I'm wondering, Paul, is it too late for tonight?
So you just ask him.
Yeah, right. 2nd down and 7 at the 36-yard line. The drama in this one is Williams, and what will his final number be on the ground? Right now, 211 yards. Fiedler's going to throw it to Conrad to the 42-yard line, and let's check with Melissa.
It has not been a bad season for everyone in the Urlacher household, namely Brian's younger brother Casey, who lives in his basement. He was the starting linebacker for Lake Forest College and helped lead his team to its first ever conference championship this year. His senior season's now over, and his next step is to work out with Brian's trainer, and he hopes to get an invitation to the NFL Combine and ultimately get drafted. And you can see they look exactly alike. Casey's 4 inches shorter, but he's faster. So Brian said it's just a matter of him getting noticed.
Another Urlacher.
I think that last name will get him noticed. You throw an Urlacher around there, I think people are going to look at it.
Fiedler taking a timeout here. Play clock is running out.
What have you been at?
3rd and 2 from the 41-yard line. Fiedler throws. And on the sideline, that's Williams on the bench. Play next Monday night.
You're a lot like this guy right here.
Jason Taylor. Here's Chandler throwing. Slings it low. This one's going to run against the grain tonight in the sense that the Dolphins have turned the ball over 3 times. Chicago just once, so Chicago's going to probably win the turnover battle. For Miami, it's been a case of win the turnover battle and win the game, lose the turnover battle and lose the game. If you go back to this team, as you can see in the last 10 regular season losses, 5 this year, 5 last year, they've given the ball away 40 times and taken it away once. Well, here's a takeaway. Just as you talk about a turnover, Jamar Fletcher intercepts the pass and runs it back to the 11-yard line. They give it to Williams to the 7. Ricky is now just 7 yards shy of tying a Monday night mark. Bo Jackson in 87, 221 yards. Thurman Thomas in 90, and now Ricky tonight up to the moment at 214.
You know, I don't know that I'd even have Ricky Williams in here now. I think that the Dolphins, they have this game under control, and they have to start thinking of making a run here. And I know their theory is we want to ride Ricky Williams hard and put him away wet and all that stuff, but I don't think you want to ride him too hard or put him away too wet, because he means too much to this team.
He's already carried 30 times. Here's 31. He gets to the 5-yard line. It'll be 3rd and goal, and I'm sure most of you who have watched this package for years and football for years know that when Bo set that record on that, 3rd down and goal. Anderson Williams out of the backfield in motion. Will Fiedler look his way on a pass? No, instead he tries to gun it over to Randy McMichael, and it's 4th down and goal with Mate coming in. Bouncing ball. Fielded at the 11 by Ahmad Merritt. Up to the 25.
The other thing they could be talking about is, like I feel he should come out of the game. They could be talking about that. I mean, they could be talking about, his numbers, any type of records, how he feels about that, because maybe the coaches feel that he ought to come out of the game.
Well, 31 carries for 216 yards. At one point, it looked like he might have a shot at Dillon's record. Now it doesn't look that way, unless he gets back into the game and breaks a 60 or 65 yarder.
And I think it's about team play. It's about winning and getting ready and fresh for the next one after you have a win. I don't think it's about going for individual records.
Absolutely, especially in a short week, 6-day week, because they play again here on Sunday. Chandler gets sacked. Chandler lost the football. It's a fumble, and it's a Dolphin recovery. Wally Ogunleye
of Indiana when he went up there to see his daughter. Was a student there.
He's getting a lot of publicity because he's got Taylor playing on the other side, and now Fiedler throws, and that is knocked away by McQuarters. And let's go to Melissa. Crown come home in January in San Diego. Another kind of crown. And that would be about as good as being a prince, I suppose. Huh?
Well, it would be right up there with it. I mean, you get the 2 of them together, and you to do anyway, and maybe you should have done before you do what you wanted to do anyway.
I get it. Travis Minor is the beneficiary. Get some playing time. Minor supplanting Robert Edwards now as the backup back to Williams. Well, Ricky Williams impressing him.
He's the guy. He proves that he can take it.
Mare for a 29-yard field goal attempt. And it's now 27-3.
I'm not even sure that they shot any water in his mouth. Because now, if you're a playoff team, you're going to win those games, and you deserve to be there. If you're not, and you can't win those games, you don't deserve to be a playoff team.
Especially at Foxborough on December 29th. Ahmad Merritt brings the ball back up to the 29. The Bears, meanwhile, go home, face the Jets, home so to speak, Champaign. Jets next week. Chicago at Carolina on December 22nd. Plenty of good seats available. and then Tampa Bay on a Sunday night in Champaign on the 29th of December.
Yeah, I'm looking down there at Brock Marion, and he got that first interception that was a big thing. And talking to the other day, he has 6 kids. Brock Marion does.
Amazing.
As we were talking about, Christmas and and how big a time it is when you have 6 kids. And you have to go shopping and stuff. He said, the 2 words that if you're a parent and you're shopping around Christmas time, you're buying presents, the 2 words you don't want to see.
The 2 words you don't want to see. Nothing on, 3 words. Nothing on sale.
No. Assembly required.
Oh, right. Yes.
He said and you can't find it anymore.
Yeah.
He said assembly required is on everything. Yeah. Sometimes they'll put some in front of it, like some assembly required.
That's a kissing cousin to batteries not included.
Well, that's the other one.
Right.
That's the other one. But when you have 6 kids, you always think pro football players, Brock Marion, safety, tough guy, and all these things, and then you think, he's a father. And he has 6 kids, and he has to go, and you have to take him places and do all those things that fathers do.
And that is another turnover. It is Jermaine Haley coming up with the football, and it was just minutes ago we started talking about the Bears winning the turnover battle, and now the Bears have turned the ball over 3 times in the last 15 minutes on the clock. And they have now turned it over 4 times to Miami's 3.
And it's just one of those things that, that frustration that, nothing happened. I mean, everything that can happen bad is happening to them. Everything that can happen good is happening to the Dolphins, but they're making it happen. I mean, they're getting pressure. They're getting their hands up. They're hustling. They're making all these plays, too.
Look at hit Burnett in the face mask. And then Jermaine Haley gets the interception.
A big old tackle. That was a heck of a dive by Jermaine Haley.
Minor hit by Brown to the 40-yard line. If they win out, they're in, guaranteed. And you can say that when you have 7 teams vying for 6 spots, because of course they're all playing each other.
Yeah, and that's the way you want it. I mean, there's no back doors. This isn't his comeback. This is the start of his comeback.
Minor takes the football to the 38. Should be enough for a.
He's going to have surgery on, and then the stress of the shoulder went to the elbow.
Domino effect they don't want, but tonight he looked pretty good. Second down and 8 from the 36. Travis Minor. And 3 minutes to go now in the 4th. Our team as we wind down to the 2-minute warning. There was some speculation last year that Dick Geron, anytime you have this kind of a year and the offense can't get going and the heat falls upon the coordinators. Greg Bloch, the defensive coordinator. I mean, you think back last year, 2 hot assistants. Now everybody's upset. Fans want changes left and right. And Minor gets taken down, and Dan Gable couldn't teach a better move than that by Jerry Azuma.
The only thing he could have done is kept his hat on.
Yep. This is now the quarterback.
320!
Quarterback draw. And Burris takes it to the 43-yard line, and that's going to take us to the 2-minute warning. The horse trailer. It awaits. Look at that crowd. They want to know.
Fans of the horse trailer, they can't wait.
Lining up at the windows for the horse trailer. Unanimous.
Yeah, the fans have spoken.
Oh, yeah.
They left to get out there in the horse trailer. Some of them may jump on the horse trailer and go to Tennessee.
We didn't put Ricky's picture up on the horse trailer. That horse trailer wouldn't have got out of the parking lot tonight.
So they were there making their choice.
We got the horse right here, and his name is Ricky Williams.
One thing, the weather's always so nice down here in Miami that you can stay wild for a long time. You know, there's no cold to make you go inside.
Right.
Yeah. Your parents just say, come on inside. It's cold. Get out of the cold. If you're from Miami, you never have to get in out of the cold.
72 degrees at game time tonight. Room temperature.
There was kids and babies and everything out there at the horse trailer.
12:30. The kids are up in the balmy weather. ESPN.com. You can log on or not. From the 44. I mean, everybody has options in life, right? And here's Burris. And this game, of course, is over except for a few of our fine feathered friends at 27-3, and Henry Burris is making it relatively interesting for those of that flock.
You know, Henry Burris, these are probably the plays that, you know, that he was going to run anyway. You know, they had a package. We talked about that, and they wanted to work that with Jim Miller, and it's Henry Burris running quarterback draws, and they're saving these plays for these moments.
At the 27. Inside the 20. And he's going to step out of bounds at the 11.
Henry Burris is in his second year. He was up at Green Bay. He was a third quarterback at Green Bay, and then the Bears got him, and he's been the emergency quarterback. And then, as you said earlier, because they only had 45 active players tonight, he could be the third or emergency quarterback, but still play because he's a 45th player, and that's why, you know, the Bears have played 3 quarterbacks tonight, but they didn't have anyone listed as the emergency quarterback.
First and 10 from the 11 with $1:44 to play in the fourth. Fake toss, and he gets rolled down by Jay Williams, who started the game by creating a sack, which I believe they credited to Jason Taylor early on, even though Williams looked like he should have gotten at least a half.
Yeah, Jay Williams is the guy that comes in on pass rush downs and plays tackle. He and Rob Burnett are the 2 inside pass rushers on nickel defense.
Second down and 12 from the 13-yard line. Keeps it himself, takes it to the 6.
We may have another record here in quarterback sneaks in one series in the fourth quarter. This is what it looks like if you were the umpire and you're right there and you see Olin Kreutz coming at you, and right behind you see Henry Burris.
3rd and 5. And that is caught for a touchdown by Booker. Marty Booker for the touchdown. Now, of course, is the critical decision. Do you go for 1 or 2?
No, but you saw Dick Geron there. He's going for 2. He just made the decision.
There are a lot of people reaching for Pepto-Bismol right now, I got to tell you. So 36 points tonight. Miami with 27 of them. And the 2-point conversion coming up. And to some, the all-important 2-point conversion. Incomplete. He underthrew it. Now the Bears ready for an onside kick. And it is fielded by Sean Wood.